one of the great word typers of our day, Stephen King. He talks so many words. He talks words so good. No one's talked words like him before.
He doesn't like me.
They pay him just huge money to write words. Some words not very good about me. Not very good at all.
Nice.
Okay. All
He
right.
talks about the vampires. He talks about the vampires, but sometimes he talks about the cell phones. The cell phones that kill you.
Hello, and welcome to the Bridgeburners Book Club, where together we read, discuss, criticize, and get excited about all things science fiction and fantasy. I'm your host, Sean, and with me is my co-host, Tyler.
That's me.
And our co-host, Ben.
Has been tame. I am the true dragon. Isn't that right, Pattern? Pattern? Isn't that right? I'm your best little dragon boy? I'm your good little dragon boy, Pattern. No, I'll be your best dragon boy. Please.
We're excited to have you along with us each week as we take a journey together through the books we love. Well,
Brilliant. I loved it. That was good.
I wasn't sure if it was going to end, but...
Literally just flipped through. That was one of the most that's a name I haven't done yet.
That's a good one.
We need a fresh crop of characters.
There's not a whole lot in here. Yeah.
Good thing we're in a tower full of powerful women. It's the only way I can come now.
I just realized we're on video, so I can do prop comedy now.
Oh, wow. Ben was just saying this basically. I'm getting very confused now on the details of the show because the details of the show versus the book, because last time we were saying like that almost everything we saw in that first episode when we watched it together was like not in the books, so far, but then like all of a sudden
then it just all happened.
Yeah,
it all started syncing up super hard, except for like some characters are moved around and stuff. Like Egwene is with Rand.
I mean, they move the events onto screen, which I think is actually cool. Like, it's a little bit weird that like though Robert Jordan resolves this whole Leandrin thing kind of off screen, like, oh, and she showed up and killed a bunch of people and left. So this was actually kind of cooler. You get to see her barf blood, which is dope. But then she still gets to escape. I didn't really realize how much the show uses healing. Like, they're real loose with that healing. Like, you can be barfing blood in one scene and be like totally fine the next.
Take a spear through the heart and be like,
that in the Gray Man scene, like, there was a lot of stabbing, a lot of chopping.
Yeah.
These people got fucked up pretty hard. But there's also like a scene in the first season where Logain like is being contained and he like some angry warder charges at him and like throws his axe and all the little pieces splinter around the room and they hit like Lan and like several other Aes Sedai and people, and then Nynaeve is just like Anguish Super Saiyan mode, and she has like a healing orb that extends across the room and just magically heals everyone. Well, not everyone, I don't think, but a lot of them.
That's like a level 10 spell. Like that's a big one, right? Like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Lan's like on his throat has been completely pierced by a fucking piece of axe, and he's just like, and he gets healed. It's amazing. Also, in the first season, apparently their raw power is good enough that they get like used by Agelmar's sister, who is a former Aes Sedai or something. Mm-hmm. And they unleash like they kill like thousands of Trollocs in one wave or something.
Is that where they link?
Yeah, they all, like 5 or 6 of them linked together, and she like starts burning the eyes out of the other people or whatever, like incinerating them one by one.
I don't know, the people with like the foreheads, they're in this last fight that we saw, like, or the foreheads exploded or something and weird stuff pierced out, and like, and then the other lady just seemed fine. I don't know. It was with Varen's assistance when they got betrayed. I
think what they did was like it was like the power that went into their ears, right?
Yeah.
And I think she just like scrambled the brain of one of them, but it didn't like take on the other, because later on Leandrin does that to that girl that they save, and she like erases her memory. I don't know if I really even explained anything.
In Tanchico. Tanchico looks pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet.
Isle Waste, also cool.
What do you think about the portrayal, having like seen this versus the way it's described in the book? How do you feel that magic being portrayed? I like myself. I like the show. The magic, I think, in the book kind of feels cool, but like just waving your arms around and the cool lights coming out and like seeing pillars sliced in half and some lady getting chopped in half. That was pretty rad.
I think Robert Jordan kind of evolves how he describes the use of magic later on, where you actually see the like weaves of like they're elemental weaves, basically like air, water, fire, earth, and like different spells or powers are some combination of those, and so you pull the weaves together, and so it's described a lot more like how it is shown in the series. But that's kind of later on. They get more into like the hardcore magic stuff, so I think it's pretty accurate. They just haven't really described it that way so far.
I think I remember seeing some like behind the scenes or interview stuff that was like talking about how they specifically worked on like crafting ways that would be a little bit different from the books, but just in order to like visually show what was happening, you know, and not, there's a lot of like cheesy looking magic, especially in like the history of TV, you know, and like just really bad CG effects. And people just waving their arms around and shit.
In the Amerlin's throne room, it's like that. It's like a trip line came out of nowhere and cut him right in half.
Cut him right in half.
Cut him right, like ghost ship.
No, honestly, when you're talking about just like this kind of in live action, you know, showing this kind of magic being used, I can't think of anything that's like much better. Like as far as especially seeing that scene in the tower, where it's like we're going full on like, the lady gets cut in half. People are getting impaled and burned and blown up.
It wasn't just like one side, and I mean this happened, but like it wasn't like one side's blasting a just kind of amorphous ball at the other, and the other side's blasting another one. And it's like, I mean, there was a little bit of like barriers, but there was so much like action in the magic, like razor sharp.
Yeah, everyone was doing their own shit and throwing it independently of each other. It was chaotic, but it was awesome.
It's been really fun to choreograph. Hard to choreograph. Like
one of the better Marvel movies in the way that the fights are kind of done. Yeah.
Right.
That was good, man. Third episode was a little draggy.
Yeah, they're pouring on the fucking Forsaken, which I'm loving. It's like Ben, do you know or I can't remember how far you've seen, Tyler, or where this was at yet, but like the guy that is Elaine's
the consort,
Queen Morghase's prince consort.
Yeah, stepdaddy.
I think we knew different character than the book, or is he supposed to be the same guy? They're just doing him differently.
He is the same
because he shows up and he's like, you know, you find out who he really is or whatever, and he's like he's supposed to have only been around for like a month.
Yeah, but no one can remember his name or whatever. Yeah. Clearly, some kind of mind. Yeah. And this is a plot line that's from the books, I believe, but it's just later on, I think.
I feel like that's what I was saying. I think they just changed it maybe to make him like appear more recently or whatever. Maybe he's been around longer in the books, or he takes the place of the real guy, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Also, you know what? It deserves an award is Moraine's sun hat. That thing. She became a whole new character.
Like she was serving in that thing. And it was funny because I was just like, "Oh, a sun hat. Oh, a sun hat. That's weird." Like, okay. I guess there's no reason why there wouldn't be, but what?
Show me retiree or like rich housewives. Like she looked like she could be on the White Lotus.
Did she
right
just
there
like
with Parker Posey?
That was just in her contract. Like they didn't think the show was going to get this far, but like if we're ever filming in the Ale Waste, Moraine gets to wear a sun hat. She just put that in there.
Where is my lorazepam?
Oh man, I got God bless Parker Posey.
I'm gonna have to drink myself to sleep. Her character's fucking hilarious in
So
that show.
good.
It's crazy.
Samael in the Talmudic tradition is described as an archangel, seducer, the angel of death.
Nice.
Sometimes considered a fallen angel or demon. In some traditions, Samael is depicted as the husband of Lilith, the first wife of Adam, who's also a demon in some Jewish folklore.
Ooh, I love that shit. Talmudic, the Adam's first wife, and all that shit.
Yeah,
all the stuff in like the Gnostic Gospels about like, oh, I forget how it all goes, but like the first humans are actually like descendants of like weird demons that jacked off onto weird other demon fetuses, and then like, but there's like a little bit of God's light somehow got shine, and that's why they were jacking off or something. I don't know. It's weird stuff.
Why were they jacking off?
I think it's literally because they saw like God's light for a second, and that then caused a mass jack off event. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not really into the Gnostic Gospels that much, but yeah, I think Samael's in there somewhere as one of the princes of this world.
Did you watch Noah, the Aronofsky movie?
No,
I've still never seen that.
I watched it over the shoulder of somebody else on a plane, so I don't actually know what happened.
I mean, I feel like you're getting into like that. I think it makes sense with like some of that Gnostic gospel or non-canonical Talmud stuff, like the way that some of those things work and all the like fallen angels.
Noah's a big deal for those guys, so yes. Also, Enoch. Yeah, the book of Enoch, which Jesus quotes from at length. So Jesus believed that the book of Enoch was a real book because he quotes from it in the Bible, which is interesting because there's a lot of weird stuff in that. Yeah.
That was Bible talk.
That was Bible talk. Hey, if you bring up Samael and the Forsaken, you got to have a little bit of Bible talk.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if Samael was actually... And I guess this is kind of spoilers for the book.
This is actually interesting territory because, like, if in discussing the show,
no, it's Ravin.
Oh, is that who's
Ravin was the one that's in, not Samael. Samael was when their little meeting.
Oh, and there's like a guy that we'd never seen before. And are you talking about in the show?
I think that's Samael, and then Ravin is the one that's masquerading as Morgaze's lover.
consort.
I feel like we knew that, like, when we first meet Elaine. Somehow I feel like we were like introduced to him and know he's.
We were introduced.
Is he in season 1 when they go to Camlin? No?
He doesn't go to Camlin in season 1. They introduce Elaine, and she's the first part of that plot line in season 2. They've only just expanded it in season 3 now.
Did they go straight to Tar Valon or something? And
yeah,
that's
right.
Elaine shows up at next. She's like next door to Egwene, and that's how they meet, and just goes from there.
Yeah.
So we meet him in the books when he falls over the wall, I think.
Yeah, in book 1.
Yeah.
Which, like, it was totally unnecessary for last book, besides like bringing Elaine back a bit, but like it is very, very necessary now, or at least just to have introduced all those people.
In the show, the young Morgaze, like their casting for Morgaze was like perfect because she so much like Elaine.
Her and Elaine look the same. Yeah.
I almost wonder, the young version of Morgaze, I almost wonder if that was the same actress as Elaine.
I'm losing track of what's in the show been revealed and what's in the book, but maybe as we go through it here, we can line some things up. Should we get started? Chapter 12, The Amerlin Seat. Suan Sanch, the Amerlin Seat, anxiously paces her study, pondering a box of documents she hopes to avoid using. She is interrupted by the arrival of Varen Sedai, bearing news of Randall Thor and the other Emmons Fielders, as well as the Horn of Valier. The two discuss Matt's link to the Horn, and the Amerlin Seat makes the decision to hide the Horn for the time being. Varen warns of the threat of the Shan-Chan and their use of the One Power, but the Aes Sedai leader ignores the warning of her subordinate, just like George Bush before 9/11.
Nice. Swan Sanch ponders a box of documents. Swan.
Backs of documents.
The box of documents.
Swan Sanch pandas a box of documents.
Give it the Parker Posey voice.
Swan Sanch.
Swan Sanch.
Ponders a box of documents.
I guess first to say, this is a Swan Sanch chapter.
These are all Swan Sanch chapters. We're on the Emerald Seats territory here.
We're in a Sanch trance.
Sanch, deep in the Sanch trance.
I think the second two chapters we read are
there might be other
Egwene's perspective, and then the first one's through the Amerlin Seat's perspective. But I was gonna say, is she like continuing through the books? Do we get a lot of Swan Sanch?
It's mostly book 10, the gutting of the fish. She's real big in that one. Yeah.
While others weave water, air, and fire, she weaves omega-3.
That's good. That's good.
We got a lot of. You guys read this before me, and someone was saying how there were so many fish puns or whatever, fish references.
Underselling it.
Yeah, it's all over through these chapters. It's like every time she speaks, she has to throw one out. It's pretty crazy. We'll see if we can catch them all.
Shit, I should have. I was going to create a list.
I started marking, but only in chapter 14, so I missed like 2 full chapters of it. But when I was marking it, it was literally every paragraph he had to have one in there, and it gets tiring. It's too much because they're kind of labored by that point. Like, oh my god.
I almost recommended like we just do this as one chapter summary because you can already see the 3 summaries we've written. There's like overlap and like she studies her box of documents, and in my chapter she studies her box of documents
some more
that are now on the table. They're out of the box. They're on the table. And then the 3rd chapter, she hands the documents to the girls.
We might just need to
Chekhov's documents.
Do 4
3 acts.
Do 4 chapters on some of these because these are shorter chapters. I feel like than some of the other ones that we've covered. But yeah, okay. So this is one literally from this is from way further along in chapter 14. But it's just like, did they leave you some number behind, like a stub in shallow water that you don't see till it puts a hole in your boat? Like the metaphor is longer than the thing that she originally is trying to say. Like it doesn't.
That would get red pen from your professor.
We do get a lot of discussion of her room and things, which, you know, Robert Jordan, he does a lot of clothes, right? We joke about that, but he does also do a lot of like room or environment description. But normally it's like, it barely means anything to me, to be honest. It's like so general or not like very evocative. But this, I felt like this is actually, there are a few paragraphs here and it was like pretty decent setting the scene and very similar to the leader, what's his name? Pedron Nile, the White Cloaks leader, who's like, you know, he was in this position of power.
Yeah, of modest origin.
Yeah, but he's from a modest origin and he has a...
I called that out of my notes too as well. It's very much similar than that. Yeah.
I don't remember I don't want to keep going back to the show, but they do bring up, she does say a few fish metaphors in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her decor being modest, but her outfits were outrageous.
She did have some dope tattoos though.
I was just going slay, slay, slay for the whole like Amerlin. I was queening out hard, as they say.
Yeah.
I think.
They do a good job of making her seem kind of intimidating, you know, to have to like go before her and they're banging the big staff on the floor and all that shit. And she's just like in command, which we actually got some of that Swan Sanch in that version of her in these chapters as well. Or like when the 3 girls go before her, you know, and she's like laying into them at first.
Yeah. She's had the upper hand in there. I mean, obviously she's the Amerlin, but I think they met on the boat. She like trained, she did
right
a little bit of training with Egwene and Nynaeve.
They were doing that environmentally unfriendly fast travel as they just fucking ruined all of the villages along the way.
Yeah.
She has a grudge against salmon populations in that particular river.
Varen's just like calculating on an abacus. Okay. 275 children will die this winter because of the grain damage. Like, okay, great. Make sure we put that in the book. Yeah.
Anyways, we get some of that at first, the description of the room and all that. So kind of setting. I like that Robert Jordan's he's taking some time to set these characters up. Like, I think he does it efficiently in this chapter, where he's kind of introducing for the first time from her perspective something, and then like also getting things done in the chapter, and like it's pretty short. It reveals several things here, and basically she's just pacing around thinking about these documents in the box here, and then Varen comes in and interrupts her.
Pandering at backs of documents.
Backs of documents. Basically, it suggests or it even says like the documents she hopes she doesn't have to use, but we find out what they are later, obviously. But
the nuclear codes.
It says there's like 12 or something, or like she's like planned for 12 different possibilities or something.
Which
so
it gives them like, do you like me? 1, 2, 3. Say the birthday.
But I was thinking there's like there's probably a whole bunch of other letters in there, that for other people to use. But she, I guess we'll wait to talk about what those actually are till later. Varen comes in and relays the events of the last book.
Just the one. It's like what's the bad one? Leandrin. She's the shitty one. It's like a letter to Leandrin. Why are you so mean, frowny face? Like,
can we still be friends? Yes. Box, no box.
But the yes box is really big and the no box is really small.
There's the Mazrim Tame reference here. So what they caught Mazrim Tame, and then the other guy, some guy that he's from Haddon Merk, and the light take pity on his soul. He's taken by the Terrans and executed on the spot. I don't know who the Terrans are.
T-A-I-R-E-N-S. That's the people from Tyr. I believe that's the
Oh.
Genitive?
Okay.
No, not genitive. This belonging to case. Yeah, from Tyr. It says the vision appears in the sky when the Mazrim Tane is defeated. Yeah. Do you think that's the vision of in the sky from back in fall? Is that what this is, or is this a separate event?
She says, I don't think they know for sure, but that she would bet, 2 golden eel heads, I'm just making that up, that those events occurred at the exact same time.
Oh no, yeah, she says that. This friend goes, I'll wager a gold mark to a week-old Delta perch. That was the instant Randolph Thorpe made himself.
No.
That was
Jesus,
good.
I was just making it up, and I was pretty close.
Oh, it says, and so the pattern has no room for false dragons anymore. We have loosed the Dragon Reborn on this world. The light have mercy on us. So that's a
pretty cool. I like that. And that's kind of like I had to think about that, like existentially for a while. Like, it's like the pattern was trying out dragons, or maybe it's like I don't know. It's spitting out like almost dragons until it reaches perfection. And then it's like, we can only have one, and then you're vanquished. Or like
it's like before you had access to pornography, you drew a lot of boobs, but then you don't do that anymore once you
yeah.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't describe it in the way that I want to, but I think it's pretty cool. And it's just like, it kind of reminds me of Annihilation, where there's like replication of cells and like mutated versions of like your human form, and then you see like human forms and plants, and like it's like the whole bubble is a cancer. And I don't know, we're getting fish metaphor. Anyway, I think I like the idea that the pattern's like, we've got our guy, we're done with you, but they were still serving a purpose. Then we're just like complete fraud. There's some legitimacy to Mazrim Tame and Logain.
In the show, they brought back Logain. Do we have Logain come back in the book? You like see him briefly when he's in Tar Valon?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he's out in the hallway. He mopes down a hallway, and he's in the parade. Or in the other.
Rand sees him in Camlin, I think.
Yes, because they're bringing him to like the queen or something is looking at him or something, and then later he's in He's in Camelin. No, he's in Tar Valon. Yes, because it's when the interlude before they leave, the girls leave to go to Falm with Leandra and et al.
Let's see, what else does Varen reveal here? They talk about Rand. They talk about
the Seanchan are gone.
Yeah, they talk about Matt and the Horn and how Matt has been tainted by the dagger, and Amerlin's like, oh, that's pretty bad, but he has yet to be, decide which side he's going to go to. So I'm guessing there's more of a Matt good and evil struggle coming.
I could have not have timed these chapters better, because
oh, I know
the show, and there's stuff in the show that I was like, I don't think that's quite true. Like they say, like Matt blew the horn, and only he can summon the heroes until he dies. I'm like, I just don't remember that being a caveat of like, I just thought like no one would be able to blow the horn ever again or something like that. But and then first chapter that we read, they verify that. Verify it.
Hey,
Verification.
That's an ad that we should do. Yeah. Verify. Do you have a fact that you need to back up from the Age of Legends? Verify.
Is your series being adapted into a mass media television series by the wealthiest man in the world? One of the
I think it said in the show that it's just like whoever blows the horn first, the heroes will come. I'm pretty sure that's the way they said it in the show. But in the book, I took it to be like more of you have to like somehow be worthy of it, or like be probably a powerful enough person to have that effect or whatever.
I think the prophecy was something like it had to be someone who was blowing it for the right reasons, right? Of like for not for personal
something
gain,
like that,
which I guess like not wanting to die counts.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, as good as any.
I think the Aes Sedai. I don't think it had to be Rand or Dragon Reborn, whoever that could have been.
No, they just wanted it to be Rand.
They want it to be Rand. But they both the series and the book do the kind of like, well, if Matt dies, anybody could do it. I'm surprised in both cases he wasn't killed right on the spot.
Yeah.
I thought, the Amerlin like talks to him in the show, about that very thing, and how it seems very suggestive of like, you want to be on my good side, buddy. Behave yourself. Varen, while you are worrying about a lionfish out in the sea of storms, while here now the silver pike are chewing our nets to shreds.
That's a good one. An apt metaphor, mother.
And she ends it with before I'm done with them, they'll wish they could go down to the river and sell themselves for fish bait.
Dun dun dun. Which is like, no, they don't. That's like, it's actually a pretty nice conversation that they have with her. I guess she's just maybe BSing a little bit here to save face, but yeah.
I mean, she does sentence them to punishment, but she also, we'll get there.
But again, all of the punishments that the White Tower doles out are just giving them jobs that ordinary people have, like washing dishes or cleaning floors. Like these girls, some of them come like, Nynaeve's an innkeeper's daughter, so presumably washing dishes and cleaning floors aren't that bad for her. Pretty bad for Elaine. Elaine hates it, clearly. It's been mentioned, but I wash dishes every goddamn day.
Egwene's their social media coordinator.
And then of course at the end we get the tease that Varen is going to tell about the young Emmons fielders and also Elaine. And I think we find out later here that like a month past, more gays had been there looking for Elaine, which seems like they just kind of used that little plot line to like, grab onto for the show and kind of introduce the more gays character that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of the off-screen stuff happened on screen with the girls still there.
Presume, it was good. Yeah.
Okay, should we move on to the next chapter?
Do it.
See. Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve are summoned from their unofficial imprisonment to attend the Amerlin seat in her study. After some time arranging and studying the papers littering her desk, the Amerlin finally deems to acknowledge the young women. The Amerlin then relates to them that Leandrin had returned to the tower and had led a group of presumably Black Aja out of the tower, but not after stealing some Terangrial and killing some palace servants, guards, warders, and 3 Aes Sedai. The Amerlin seat then reveals that the 3 runaway girls would be punished with servant duty into perpetuity. However, Elaine and Egwene are to be immediately raised to accepted based on the powers that they have displayed so far. Swan tells Elaine that her mother demanded Elaine's return to Camlin, but the Amerlin was not willing to let Elaine go yet. The Amerlin then orders everyone out of the room except Egwene and Nynaeve. Truly, 2 minnows in the lair of the wolf shark.
2 minnows in the lair of the wolf shark. Did wolf sharks actually eat minnows? Did you research this?
No.
I don't think wolf sharks have lairs either, or whether like spiders.
I mean, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, is it that much more grounded? It's that much less grounded in reality than Swan Sanch, the Sanch trance.
Were you raised on the hard docks of Tyr, Ben? No. You were raised on a hill in Salem.
I'm hill folk.
Robert Jordan could have just made up a bunch of like sea/fishy sounding metaphors, and I would believe that there's a whole bunch of made up species that I've never heard of. We actually get those continue this chapter because we have this. I think the Amerlin's she's in every scene in these chapters here, so it just keeps going.
This is where we do have a solid, like we were talking, the description of the room here I do think is pretty good, which seems a little bit more stark than what they showed in the show. The one in the show just kind of seemed like pretty nice. Big shelves and stuff like that. The furniture seemed heavy. I don't know.
In the book, Tar Valon is hot on the outside and plain on the inside. And in the show, it's the opposite.
Yeah. In the show, it's fancy on the inside and a giant cock on the outside.
It is a giant cock on the outside, as they pointed out in the show. In the show, I was noticing that Tar Valon, the inside of the tower, I mean, the White Tower itself, it's because you see it in the first and second season, I think. It's just kind of looks like the inside, like your generic, like inside of a castle kind of thing or something for the most part, except for like the Amerlin seats room and stuff. But in the book, there's a description, I think, in this chapter of like the novices' rooms and or maybe it's the accepted rooms or whatever. It's describing like a courtyard thing they're all lined around, and like a bunch of kind of entrances to rooms, that line this one big open space.
Yeah, it seems like it's like a courtyard that kind of goes around the inside, like a fancy Marriott, like like,
which I thought it was like a cooler, more interesting description of what a tower probably would be like.
They're just like Hogwarts, right? It was just like a hall, like a dorm, right? This is pretty cool. Doesn't seem super realistic, but
it's a fantasy book, I want it to be crazy.
Yeah, I kind of like it. The room's all facing it, but it seems like in the show though, they don't show that. When it's all showing the interior shot, it seems to be just like hallways and shit, right? You don't see like this big interior atrium or whatever in the middle. Yeah.
Beginning of this, it's Egwene's in her room and Elaine shows up, or they're whispering through the hole in the wall or whatever. Someone else is like listening. They get interrupted by some girl eventually, right?
Yeah, they have guards outside their room. Yeah.
Did you hear the latest gossip at the glory hole?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like everyone knows apparently about those holes, and they're all just listening to them. What do they talk about here?
Do you hear what they say on hole last night?
They're afraid they're going to get stilled. They kind of like make a plan to like, I think Elaine is like, I'm not going to be stilled. Like even she's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to get the fuck out of here kind of thing. She's like, I guess I could be a village girl.
But she would still be queen. Yeah, whatever. Okay. And as in the show, they're trying to break her out. It's funny. So it's the kind of opposite here. Yeah.
Can I make one or just like a point or a discussion topic?
Yeah.
I think in the first book we talked about as like a discussion topic our favorite School of Magic books. or like different school
yeah.
of magic. Do you guys remember up to this point? I know I guess we're early in the series and early in their Aes Sedai-ness, but have they attended a single class?
No, there's a description of classes at the very, when there's kind of the time skip when they get to the tower.
They don't show it in the show either, or I mean, they're not there a whole lot.
No, and it's basically seems to be like one-on-one tutoring and kind of like exercises you go through more than like, I'm taking True Source Theory. Yeah, True Source Theory at 2 p.m. and then Charlotte Caroling at 3:30. And then I've got a half-hour break, but then I've got to get like to my late class at 6 p.m. in healing Trolloc bites. Yeah, no. Or exploding foreheads. Yeah.
Manipulating Men 101.
Yeah.
There's like a couple or a few scenes in the show, and they're all just like incidental interactions with one of the Aes Sedai, who's like, I'm going to teach you something.
Yeah, they don't seem like the senior Aes Sedai don't seem like they're super interested in like teaching classes.
They're kind of pissed that the novice are even there.
Like, what the
Yeah, seriously. Like, oh, but our recruiting numbers are down.
But
Wonder
the
why.
Novices don't seem to be learning. They're there mostly to clean floors and shit, is what it seems like. Yeah.
And die in the rings.
Yeah.
That's right.
Purchase rings.
Just get fed into this ancient evil meat grinder that they found in the basement. that they call midterms.
That's the freshman 15 for Aes Sedai. 15 hells.
They're getting just lost in the worst possible reality picked out of your brain.
But yeah, they're talking about getting out of there, and then eventually the door opens and it's, I don't know how to say her name, Fowlane, something like that. Fowlane.
Fowlin.
Fowlin.
Oh man, you just read my mind. We both limped our biscuit at the same time.
Oh yeah, my biscuit got real firm real fast.
Oh, Tyler's crying.
You always leave me out of the Limp Biscuit.
Well, I mean, you have to be ready to Limp Biscuit. I mean, we can't prepare you. We're like the Aes Sedai. We don't teach our novices the ways.
We just abuse them.
One other just comment on the Aes Sedai and the show and just the tower in general. What a fuck. It's just a fuck fest.
Oh, yeah.
It's like guy on guy, girl on girl, like just Gawain and Galad fucking the shit out of all the novices.
Yeah.
Matt's like, we got one on each side of his room. They're both making noise at the same time. It's fucking crazy. There's a scene in season 2 where the whole joke is the Green Aja warrior lady who has the two male warders, or I guess they're all male probably, but Elena, something like that.
Yeah,
Leanne.
Elena. No, Leanne's the keeper of the seals.
Oh, right, yeah. It is Elena or something like that.
She has a scene in season 2 where Egwene comes to her asking like for advice about like doing things, like holding two different thoughts in her head at once or something. And because like Egwene like sees her rolling in the hay with her two warders, and then later she's asking about this magic stuff, and she thinks she's asking about like how you could possibly like even focus on satisfying two guys or whatever or something like that. It's not even that funny really, but there's like an extended scene that's about that. That tower is just constantly about sex.
So horny.
But, yeah.
I went to Portland State University and it wasn't nearly this bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you live in the giant magic tower?
I didn't. No, I couldn't get. I couldn't get into the magic tower at PSU. No, that is the fuck fest.
Fowlane or whatever. She wants get information out of them. Like she comes in and is like, "Hey, friends, what were you guys talking about? You want to talk about it?" And then drops the smile after a second or whatever. I think it says it rolled off her face like a
water off a duck's ass.
Water rolling off a roof or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This one was not a
fish metaphor,
river or sea related metaphor. Yeah.
Nynaeve is giving her thick braid a sharp tug. I've started. It's showing up a lot in these chapters. We are glossing over for the listeners how many thick braid tugs that we're getting from Nynaeve. He is really settled. He's settled on it.
No, it builds. She gives it in the beginning, she gives it a light tug, Nynaeve, and then later it's like she's kind of like doing more with her braid, and then later it's like she like violently tugs on her braid or something. It goes in succession.
I've never had long hair, nor am I a woman. Is this something that women do? I've never seen.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. Yeah. The listeners.
I've had long hair at one point. I feel like everyone like does, you form habits that like, whether it's like rolling, a little finger of hair up or whatever, like some, you probably mess with your hair in some way, but
I'm imagining you do it right now, Sean.
I don't know about braid tugging.
Yeah.
That seems
it just
like
seems like it would hurt.
One. I've never seen it.
Yeah. I had longer. I one time got like kind of tighter braids, and it just that hurt, and I wouldn't want to like pull on them.
But this is a thick braid.
You got a Brazilian braid lift to real plumping that baby up.
They just inject it. It's just like it's wet.
It's just like
it's so wet.
I did enjoy. There's like one sentence here about this dude. Nynaeve and her slim-necked escort Theodrin joined them. Neither spoke.
I think Theodrin is a woman.
That's a woman. She's.
Yeah, I've been very out of place in the White Tower.
Yeah,
and here's a gay man.
It is a fantasy male name.
It sounds like something from Lord of the Rings.
It took me back to
that would be a man. Yeah.
I am no man. As Theodrin and pulls off her helmet and reveals herself as Theodra.
Oh yeah, it's the only way to defeat the sub boss of the ultimate evil.
I don't think Robert Jordan is as strict about his naming conventions as Tolkien was.
Well, either way, I just like that slim-necked escort as like one little sentence to describe this person or talk about them at all.
Little escort number.
Yeah. That's what it says. That's what it says on my Craigslist listing.
You looking for a slim-necked little escort? You found your man.
Coming to my wolf shark lair.
We gotta talk about the Amerlin seat. They get escorted to her chamber. Let's see. Leanne is there.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Great casting in the show. And I guess we're going to be doing show parallels for a while here, but she is a good cast. She's tall, hot, of course.
Stern, hot. Thick rod.
Yeah. She has that like that angry face. She kind of gives you the
good casting.
Like, oh,
if I had to carry that thing around all day, I'd be pissed off.
I think all the new people, like characters introduced in the last 2 seasons have been well cast. I think the Aiel have been well cast.
Oh, Elida, fucking
Elida.
Oh, Elida.
The red Asha has fallen in the eyes of the Amulet.
Her voice got even more fucking like insane than it was in The Expanse and shit like that.
She's been raspy since 24. It was like season 4 or 5.
Oh.
She was like the wife of this terrorist, and like it's made her out to be like the victim, and then of course she was the mastermind of all the terror attacks and all that stuff.
Classic. Nice.
With a voice like that, she's gotta be.
I love her. She's just a unique jewel in the crown of Hollywood.
Oh yeah. When she comes into the show though, she's more intimidating in the show just because it's her than she is in the book, I think. The book, she seems like kind of crazy and like
just a
power hungry.
Just a mean old lady, yeah.
I do like in the show where she's kind of thrown back into the harem of the Red sisters, and she's manipulate, like she's playing it being meek, and there's definitely either it's a fish out of water or like she's readjusting, or she's already working her magic, which that's probably what it is. But she's playing a character who's pretending to be meek,
right?
Which obviously is not going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can feel that coming. So I think it is just Leanne and the Amerlin seat in here, and she basically starts out by being like, you guys are in huge trouble, and they're like, but we got kidnapped by Leandra and she's Black Aja, and that just pisses off.
But then she just like
because-
immediately like tells the whole story, like, oh yeah, Leanne, yeah. By the way, yeah, no, she is. You're right. Yeah, she is. And here's all the bad things she did. Here's the tearing reel she stole and all that. So I'm kind of glad that like this is what we. I don't know if I said this earlier, but like I'm glad that they moved this on camera for the show. This kind of scene of them stealing all this shit. That was cool.
Yeah, they basically had almost the same outcome as what happened with the like whole attack from Leandra in the tower, but instead they just like had it so that she killed, or her people killed some people off screen and also stole some Angreals off screen, and that like brought this stuff out in the open. And also more gays showed up a month earlier and blah, like there's a lot of the same events happening, but yeah, like I said, they're not actually shown. But isn't there a spot too where Min says something like about how she's seen a lot of Aes Sedai looking like they're going to be dead soon?
Yeah, but she doesn't know when.
So I feel like that may also be referring, maybe we have a actual attack on the tower coming up or something like that. Because also, as we can just say, we find out eventually that they're being recruited. In this case, it's Egwene and Elaine. Or no, Egwene and Nynaeve, but not Elaine. In the show, it's Nynaeve and Elaine because Egwene isn't even there. But they get recruited to become like, Black Aja hunters or whatever. And they get that letter, of course, eventually. But like, things are they're set up differently, but yeah, sort of the same thing happening there too.
Yeah, actually, I like the way in the show. This is actually, I think there's just better choices. Like they took the structure that he had laid out and kind of like moved the pieces around and put, I think, the better stuff on camera.
Right.
Yeah, which you can't really do in the book as much because it's so locked into Egwene, like the POVs of the characters, right?
She basically tells them like, oh, you guys are in trouble. You're gonna be in the worst trouble. You're gonna have to scrub all the dishes and blah blah blah, and everyone knows it. We've already spread around the word, but like it becomes apparent real quick that she's basically saying like, yeah, I know you didn't do anything, but like. Everybody's going to think you should just be stilled because you interacted with Leandra and blah, 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 and you might be dangerous. And so she's constructed a whole thing to kind of let them play that off and make it seem like they just left the tower to like be, defiant or whatever. They went to spring break when they weren't allowed.
Initially, I was like, that's kind of stupid. Like the first, when I was reading this, like to punish them when they're so clearly innocent, but she's not obviously thinking about her perception of them. It's everyone's perception. Right. And that's going to work in her favor so much because I guess we'll be suspicious of potentially being Black Aja or just being naive and easy to trick or whatever. So putting them in that position will, I suppose, make them better spies.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit of a stretch that she would just entrust these girls with this thing. But she kind of sold it to me eventually. But I guess we'll get to that specific. We can read like the specific things when we get there. But
and they're very powerful, so that helps too. Like if they get in a pickle, they have a better chance of surviving than most.
I could only channel when I'm mad, says the woman who's mad literally 100% of the fucking time.
She two-hand
it works out.
Two-hand jacks her braid.
Just goes into Super Saiyan mode. Yeah.
But I did, I did think it does a good job of making the Amyrlin seat, I think, seem like she is like, worthy of being the Amyrlin seat. Like she's sort of thought through all this stuff already, and like she's in control of like spreading information around and like forming her own narrative to hide things. Whereas we know, like as a reader, that she's been working with Moiraine for like 20 years or whatever to
she's
secretly do this thing with the dragon.
She's terrified too, which is I like that aspect of her character where she's super confident on one side, but like or externally, but internally she's terrified she's gonna be found out and stilled because they're aiding the Dragon Reborn, and that's a cool like humanizing and humbling component to her character. And I think that's also in the show as well as present. Not in this, they haven't really addressed it too much in this season that it's a secret, don't think.
Right.
But they did, like when her and Moiraine, right before they rug munched each other.
I just remembered that made me remember that there's like, they talk about the oath rod at some point, which I believe is what was used in the show. There's like a scene in season 2 where Moiraine gets banished in front of everyone because Leandrin tricks or like makes Moiraine look bad in front of everyone, so she should be banned because she won't like reveal what her mission has been. She has to hide it, and then the Amerlin seat has to be like, oh well, if you won't tell me, sister, then I must exile you. And so she like gives her what I think is the oath rod that you swear on, and it like lights up and does there's a cool effect, and
Twist
she
it.
swears on it.
Pull it. Bop it.
Oath it.
The way the show makes it seem, though, is that there's like an actual magic binding component to this oath rod. Do you guys know? Is it like actually anything?
Their oaths are supposed to be magically binding, but then I don't know. It seems like they fucking lie all the time. So what doesn't really work? And then they have
there's always they always say there's an art to what is withheld, and then of course the Black Aja, they somehow the oath to the Dark Lord breaks their oaths to the oath rod. But does the Dark Lord have his own rod?
It's called the Dark Rod.
I don't think so.
It's positioned about 2.5 inches above the Dark One's taint.
Yeah, we get this whole thing explained basically that she's going to she's constructed this whole story, she's done this whole thing. Isn't there's some talk with Elaine, I think, as well, about something about her mother, her actual mother, not the Amerlin seat mother. Because I'm remembering the show where the Queen of Andor or Morghese wants Elaine to just give up and then stop being Aes Sedai or whatever, not a member of the Tower.
Yeah, that's towards the end. I think Morghese, once they found Elaine, that she wanted her return to Camlin, and then she left Eleda at the White Tower, which was like the first time there hasn't been a Aes Sedai,
like 1,000 years or something.
Yeah, advisor to the Lion Throne. The caveat that she wanted, or at least maybe the Amerlin said she wants Elaine trained to the point that she can't kill herself with the power and then send her back. In the show, she's like, we're not giving you back. It's like, you're mine.
Yeah.
But I think it's less committal. In the book, it's like, we'll train her to the point she can't die from just overusing the power, and then we'll send her back to Camlin.
Elonda Musk. There's a joke there somewhere.
So then they basically agree they're going to do this punishment thing, and it doesn't seem that bad. Nynaeve loves punishment. She used to go around just beating everybody in Emond's Field, and they all just accepted that.
The worst punishment possible. Dishes.
Scrubbing floors, washing dishes.
Valet for my horse-drawn cart.
Oh my god, I won't even be able to move the wooden seat back.
And okay, anything else? Let's
see. They basically usher Leanne and Elaine out to then set up Egwene and Nynaeve for the next chapter, and that's like the end.
Doesn't it mention Elaine's brothers too?
Oh yeah, just nothing.
That they've been recalled, right? But they didn't want to.
They're already in the tower. Wait, or where are they?
They're in warder training.
I can't remember if we've seen them yet. In this book.
Oh no, you interrupted Cloaks 101.
Oh yeah, I like how in this one it's just, I didn't realize it was like every warder has a magic camo cloak.
Yeah,
it's a standard issue.
Be a nightmare to film. So in the show, Morghese brings Galad and Gawain to be there as warders, or just I guess not even warders. There's training. In the book, they've already been there, but they're not going to leave. I do think it's pretty cool that we have a matriarchal throne situation where, like, no matter how handsome and like strapping and good at fighting these guys are, Elaine's still going to be the next ruler of Camlin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like in the show, they even make it kind of clear that like when it's not until a girl is born that the line is secure. Like, and that's the opposite of every other European monarchy.
It's probably. I mean, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a byproduct of just the women being the only power wielders in the world, and Camelin is like, I think, the closest kingdom to Tarvalon.
And also, Elaine gets dismissed here at the end, and Egwene and Nynaeve stay back. We obviously kind of already talked about what that's going to be, but we can get into that in the next chapter.
Chapter 14, The Bite of Thorns. Alone with Egwene and Nynaeve, the Amberlin seat reveals her plan, to use the two of them as secret agents to reveal the remaining Black Aja in the White Tower. The ladies from the Two Rivers try to wiggle off the hook, but eventually accept. They are given a literal carte blanche and are sent away with assurances that they'll get word when Matt gets better.
It's just like that movie, Blank Check.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love that movie. Especially like the really horny older lady. There is a really horny older lady. Oh, my God.
The parallels.
The parallel.
I wonder where Robert Jordan got it or Blank Check got it.
He's just sitting there watching, like, what was it, Disney Channel Junior at 1994. Oh no, when was Blank? When was Blank Check?
I think 1994 is about right.
Mr. Macintosh, that's what he names himself.
1994, February 11th, 3 days before my birthday in 1994.
What a great birthday present.
Yeah.
Man, what a year. We had Jurassic Park, we had Forrest Gump, we had Blank Check. I mean, Jesus Christ, the Oscars loaded.
Richie Rich was December 21st of that year. Mighty Ducks, that was 1992, so that probably would have been D2, would have been 94.
What's funny though is I think this kid's, I think his amount of money that he writes the blank check for is like $1 million.
$1 million, yeah, which is like a 4-bedroom house in Portland. Yeah.
$1 million, yeah.
But he's got like a mansion with like all this Richie Rich shit at it. He like buys down the street or something.
With a water slide. How do you get a castle that already has a water slide in it? Yeah.
Richie Rich is kind of the probably actually better version of that movie. Like Blank Check, if I remember a lot, it's one of those movies that makes no sense and it's really stupid, but it's like it's pretty fun.
It's pretty good. That's where I learned to
dumb.
put plastic bags in your pocket when you're going to the buffet to get food. Yeah.
Oh, I know people that have done that. I've never done it myself, but it used to be what you do is you go to the Mongolian grill, you know, and they cook your food in front of you there.
Hell yeah.
You get your big plate before you're ready to leave. You get these little rice paper wrap things that they had, like a little burrito. You wrap that shit in the burrito, wrap that in a napkin, and then stuff that in your pocket.
Oh,
that was the strategy.
That's why Chang's has cloth napkins. Okay, yeah. Cool.
I just want to point out that, Tyler, you and I had fish metaphors or allusions in our chapter summary where Sean had a 9/11 comparison.
9/11.
Okay, in our video discussion,
to be fair,
there was
a lot of fish also died on 9/11.
We did talk about 9/11, Seinfeld on 9/11.
We had also like 3 different 9/11 jokes within the course of the watching the episode too. I don't know, it just kept because there's the tower. I think you said that, Ben. It was like or maybe Tyler, I can't remember. It was like a second Aes Sedai has hit the tower or something like that. When there's just like a big explosion out of it. And Lana and Lorraine are just watching the street.
I think I had the most fun talking about Seinfeld on 9/11. I'm sure a lot of people have talked about this, but I just picture
pretty good.
This is a dark comedy, but Jerry standing in the vicinity of the World Trade Center and like bodies are falling around him. He's like, "Who are these people?"
Oh my god!
Kramer just stands up out of some rubble, like just getting dust off himself. I was just trying to get a Snickers bar. Good stuff.
Kramer was walking by and really needed some. He's a little peckish, so he ran into the World Trade Center for a vending machine. Yeah. I could see it.
Yeah. This is the second week in a row we've discussed this topic. So let's
This is some reunion shit, man.
It's important stuff.
I can't believe Larry David could leave this on the table. Anyway.
Okay. I guess we can talk about the Bite of Thorns. What is the Bite of Thorns? Does that come up in here?
It's on the second page here. Okay, the Amberlin says, are you going to punish us more? And she says, punish more. You might as well say that. Some will say, I've given you a gift raising you. Now feel the real bite of that rose's thorns.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Okay, so we didn't even really discuss this, but in the last chapter, she said, okay, Egwene and Elaine, you're accepted now. We're going to push you through those.
It's not a good thing.
We're going to push you through those goddamn arches. And they're like, oh, thank you. And now she's saying, okay, here's what you have to do. You're going to be my secret agents now. My accepteds. Just
she should have said, you'll feel the bite of those roses, thorns, fish. The thorned fish, you know?
The rose fish is thornfish.
Like if in a James Bond movie or something like that, like a Bourne movie, like some
thornfish.
You discover some people are corrupt in your organization, and then you're like, well, I'm going to turn you in. Or you could be my secret agents, my sleeper agents forever or whatever, some shit like that. But except they actually didn't really do anything wrong. It's just the White Tower is
hopelessly corrupt and terrible.
She's just holding, like, they could be like, no, fuck it, we're gonna leave, and she'd be like, all right.
What they should have done here is cut to like a movie trailer for like Nynaeve and Egwene like being like secret agents like on the Force, but instead of the Departed, it's the Accepted. That'd be good. Right. Yeah.
Damn it. Okay, that's the ad. The Accepted, and everything's Boston accents. Fucking Swan Chant. That's Canadian.
Swan Chant.
Are you the fucking rat? Tell me now. You were the fucking rat.
Yeah. The ambulance seat's rotten, I'd fucking tell you.
The backs of documents on the table. Swan Sands with the box of documents.
This summer. Okay, that's good.
Holy shit. Wow. Okay, yeah, let's actually do that. I'll put some movie trailer music to it.
The Accepted.
Okay. I don't think we even like started on this chapter, right? Yeah. So Egwene and Nynaeve are back behind with the Amberlin seat. This is where she gives them her secret agent instructions. I like how Nynaeve's like, Moiraine's not to be trusted, and that is your opinion, is it? The Amberlin said. A year out of your village, and you think you know enough of the world to choose which Aes Sedai to trust and which not? A master sailor who's barely learned to hoist a sail. There we go. Yeah. Slippery as a basket of eels.
Yeah, and then she calls them thin reeds, easily broken, but then like they kind of like throw that back in her face a couple times, like, if we're such thin reeds who are easily broken, like, why are you trusting so much? She doesn't really give like satisfactory answers, like God in the Book of Job, like, because I can.
Yeah, shut up, bitch.
A stop in the shallow water that you don't see is hope it's a hole in your boat. I got that one in here.
They were all over in this chapter.
Egwene's like, and Nynaeve is like, how do we fight Black Aja when we're just accepted and they're full Aes Sedai?
This is where we kind of see that, like the Amberlin lets her guard down here, and they're like talking about how she looks tired and kind of unsure and stuff, and that's like worrying for Egwene. But this is cool to see the vulnerable side, and like she just kind of like, it seems like her and Moiraine have latched on since way back. There was that lady that I can't remember the name of that type of Aes Sedai that foretells stuff or what it prophesies stuff.
Dreamers, yeah.
No, I think it's just a foreteller or
seer or foreteller or something. That lady that like made this prophecy about Rand and how he was just born and all that shit. So they've kind of latched onto that, and they're just like going with it, and they finally found the dragon, they think, and he's announced himself, and now it's kind of like, what do we do? And then she's got these other, like Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine to deal with here. But yeah, she's like worried about the Black Aja and how like more people might be killed and stuff. Sounds like it's going to be bad if Min's seeing people that are going to die. Amberlin Seat's worried about it. But she's like letting all of this information be known to these two girls, as we kind of talked about before. But like, I don't know. It seems like maybe she's really not doing well, because this seems desperate, I guess, is what I think would say.
It's the same. We've made jokes about it, and I think an ad about it, but it's the same shit where Moiraine is keeping things too close to the vest for the urgency of their moment. And like Sanch can, she's worried about being stilled for aiding and abetting the Dragon Reborn. You can hunt the Black Aja with more fervor than two accepted and not give up that plot. So it's all this restraint and like secrecy and shit. And like, this is the moment where she could rally the tower around her cause, because obviously Leandrin's known to be Black Aja. At the same time, I mean, it's hard to root out Black Aja, and they could get into McCarthyism and that kind of shit. But I feel like in this case, she could bring in some more, like Varen and Leanne, which she thinks she can trust. I think she can trust them for this purpose.
In the show, also, I kind of want to talk about here that I've been enjoying it. It's like it's doing the tower politics thing in a very like Game of Thrones kind of power struggle kind of way, where there's like all these plots going on. Elida, whatever her name is like clearly trying to take back the command of the Red Aja in the show. But in here, it's mostly just Leandrin and the Black Aja that it seems like we have to, I guess, that she's currently worried about in the books. I don't know. I don't think there's very much mention of like inner tower politics really with like the different Ajas and how they're interacting.
Not yet, but there will be.
I feel like, the different colors all getting together, like we kind of saw on the show, is not a thing yet in the series. Yeah.
The Amyrlin basically says like, oh, yeah, Nynaeve, you're like basically an Aes Sedai now, but like I just couldn't.
You're too much of a little bitch.
She's like, you actually can't even control your power at all. You just have to be angry. You can't decide to channel it whenever you want, which seems like a pretty fundamental part of the thing. But she's like, but yeah, no, you're basically an Aes Sedai. I guess just mostly supposed to be a comment on her power level.
Could be like just power, like in the head, mind games. Like you can do an Aes Sedai, what an Aes Sedai can do, but you can't do it until I say you can do it.
Until I call you a little bitch, you little bitch.
Yeah, eat this pussy. Eat my pussy. Eat my pussy.
Not the voice. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a thing that she drops in. I guess that's probably also like you're saying, it's kind of a way to like maybe manipulate and mess with Nynaeve by telling her that too, or maybe motivate her. I don't know, or maybe to make her feel better about being punished. But Nynaeve seemed okay with the punishment, so yeah.
I mean, I think the Aes Sedai, the normal Aes Sedai, are just over their heads, and they're dealing with like legendary figures or soon to be legendary figures. People, Ta'veren, all this stuff. They just don't like. They can only. I mean, they're trying to manipulate them and use them for good.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But really, they're just not. They don't know what to do with these super powerful children showing up, basically, and throwing their world upside down. And they're just trying to like force them into their own structure and what they're used to. But the Ta'veren is going to win out in the long run.
Whatever it needs to happen, it'll happen. That kind of leads into Egwene, like, doesn't want to do this, at least in her head. She's like, or she even tries to like, actually, she's like, an Aes Sedai will want to continue testing me, see if I'm a dreamer, I'll barely have time left over to sleep and eat. How can I hunt anything? And the Amyrlin, she's not taking no for an answer.
She's not particularly helpful either. Yeah.
Toughen up.
Yeah, which is like, these girls, like Egwene's point in her head is actually like pretty legit. She's like, I can't, I'm not even an Aes Sedai yet.
I'm taking 26 credits this semester.
Yeah. I don't even have my associate's degree yet. And she's an underclassman, and she's like, I think the main thing is they just need to like gather information and inform to her, really, is probably really the main thing. But like, they don't have those skills, and their status, especially at this moment in the tower, is that they are kind of the subject of like public bullying or ridicule. You know, like everyone's going to pick on them at the moment. Like I don't think they have a whole bunch of friends or like way to get around the tower and gather info. But I guess we'll see what happens. All right. And then we get to the letters, right?
They caught the blow.
Yeah, literally, we found out what's in Chekhov's box in Act 3, and
Chekhov's papers.
Backs of documents.
The backs of documents.
So I do like when Egwene opens the letter. The letter is real short. What the bearer does is done at my order and by my authority. Obey and keep silent at my command. Suan Sanj, watch with seals. Flame travel on the Emerald Sea.
I could make a water dance with this.
Nynaeve immediately goes into, I could do anything I want. And then the Amerlin's like, I'll give you a little chastising or reminder that you got to use this responsibility. But then also she's just like, but it may come to that you need to use it for some crazy shit. So, which is like, this is now a new start of a new Chekhov's letter. Now it's not the backs of documents, just the letter itself. But this one is probably going to be the first act of the whole book.
Yeah.
And it's going to come up in the third act. She's going to have to command some soldiers or something. And then they talk about Matt briefly at the end as well.
Oh yeah, really briefly. Jeez, I was trying to find where it was, and it's like the last 4 lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like just another mention of like, Matt's sick somewhere off screen. He'll probably be healed in a while. I'm guessing there's going to be like one chapter
go
where
to
it's
your
like
room.
The Matt healing chapter.
I believe there's literally one called healing. We're in the White Tower for a while. I if I'm allowed to do some, what is it? Illicit flipping forward in the
Scrolling?
book. Yeah, we have quite a bit of White Tower characters before we get back to Perrin and Rand. So I'm kind of glad what the book did. I think of kind of scooting all the stories along a little bit. Yeah.
The Gray Man is the next chapter, which is like, especially having just seen the show.
The Gray Man. Oh, sorry. No.
The Gray Man?
Oh, the Gray Man?
The Gray Man.
The Gray Man.
The Gray Man?
Oi, you a bloody Gray Man.
Oh, Melchior, the Gray Man.
El hombre verde. Okay. Wait, I said verde. That's the green man. Gris. It's el hombre gris.
El hombre gris.
I was thinking of the green man from our previous attempt at accents.
Never die, green man. Never die.
I don't even know if I want to predict these, but I was just gonna say the gray man is the next chapter, and we've already had the idea of the gray man implanted in us from earlier in this book, and we've seen some gray man shit like twice now in the show.
Wait, I don't remember anything about a gray man.
Yeah, I remember something, but I can't really put my finger on it. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
Which is I'm enjoying the way the show's depicting the gray man. Although, okay, here's something I was trying to remember. I guess you haven't seen all the way through, Tyler, because I think this happens at the end of the third episode. Of this
Are you talking about crossbow?
There's the crossbow thing, and then at the end of that, they're suggesting that Varen was up to some funny business. And then I thought I remembered, was there some suggestion in here that she might be up to some funny business in the book as well? I thought there was like one little hint at that.
The Amerlin seat is wondering whether or not she can trust Varen at one point, and doesn't.
Yeah, because Varen's kind of been, because Varen, it was the Amerlin seat in Moiraine, and Varen just figured it out.
Yeah,
and brought herself into that crew. I don't remember in the show exactly how Varen may be implicated, but
she's the Steve Jobs of all this. Yeah,
yeah. I don't think. I think she's clean. But I don't know if that means she's a dark friend, or if I really believe that or not, but or Black Aja or whatever, but something with Varen. She's got her own motivations going on, I believe, which is interesting because they introduced her in the show in I think a little different way, where she's like chilling at the at that estate, the wine vineyard or whatever, with her and someone else. She's not introduced. I think in the book she came in, if I remember. Last book when she just showed up with that
like you're saying, she inserts herself into the whole plot with Moiraine and the Amerlin.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to keep reminding ourselves what is what.
It was very
throughout this
confusing.
book,
Yeah,
I feel
so I'm
like.
trying to like sort through what happened where. Yeah.
That brings us to the end of another episode of the Bridgeburners Book Club. We would love it if you follow us on Instagram at Bridgeburners Book Club, on Twitter at BridgeburnersBC, and find us on YouTube at Bridgeburners Book Club, where we post full episodes, clips, and polls. If you would like to write in, shoot us an email at bridgeburnersbc@gmail.com with any comments, questions, or contentions, and maybe we'll read them on air. You can also join our Discord with the link in the episode description for discussions, questions, or to post your best memes. It really helps the show to grow if you give us a rating on Apple and Google Podcasts, so please consider helping. I'm the Sean Chan, and for my co-hosts, Ben Bowie and Tyler the Creator, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. I was imagining myself fucking me as the slim-necked escort now.
Sam Rockwell really put this season on track.
Yeah.
Also, Carrie Coon's tits.